Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jacob's awesome, epic, top 25
awesome
games of all time 2016 edition. I am Jacob.
And I'm Jeffrey.
And this is Maple Leaf Reviews.
Well, I'm gonna say of the two lists, mine is the better so far.
Debatable.
All
right.
So going into this, how many points do you have? Our point system 13.
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
And I have 12.
Correct. So I had a bit of a lead. I did poorly. We already recorded the other round. I did kind of poorly, so Jeffrey could take the lead here or tie it up easily.
So if you want to know what we're talking about, go check out our intro video.
Yes.
Where we talk about the little mini competition we have going between each other.
And how we picked our games.
Jacob had a much more stringent criteria than I did.
Well, let's jump right into it with number 10. Number 10's a game that was already on your list. I have played it 9 times now. And it's a game that we originally both thought was just kind of average. And then the more we played it, we were just like, oh, this is actually really good.
Okay.
And that is Abyss.
Yeah.
So Abyss is a fairly light, almost gateway game.
Yeah.
But as you play it more and you get better, there's lots of things that you can do to kind of block and counter people, and it evolves.
Yeah.
Lots of different cool choices that you can make. The artwork is spectacular.
Yeah, it's a gateway game that even gamers can find something in.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the art, I mean, everyone's going to be drawn to the art. If you don't like the art for this game, something wrong with you.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we've already talked about it in Jeffrey's top 25, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
It's a great game. My number 10.
Yeah. I had this one on the list, but I had it as number 12.
Okay. Number 9 is a game that Jeffrey's given me so much flack about recently.
Finally, here it is.
And that is Survive Escape from Atlantis. This is another gateway-esque game.
Yeah, it's a gateway game if you don't want people to play games.
Yeah, it's a take that game. So you can really smash people and they might hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty vicious. Well, it's not worker placement, but you have these workers out on this board, this sinking island, and you're trying to get them onto boats and get them to safety, but there's sharks, whales, and sea monsters that are eating up people, and you're just trying to eat up all the competition so that you have the most people. And I love it. Everyone I've played it with has loved it, and it's just... Yeah, well, you enjoyed it. You've not loved it, and if you owned it, you wouldn't replace it.
It's an okay game.
It's a great game for all ages, all gamer levels.
But I would say I wouldn't use this as a gateway game unless you know people like Take That. If they
I'll give you that. Yeah,
because if you like any gateway game that's Take That, that's what you introduce people into the hobby with. I mean, it could leave a sour taste in their mouth.
Sure,
for sure.
Yeah. But so I guess maybe to rephrase it, it's a lighter game.
Yeah.
Lighter weight game.
Yeah.
But lots of replayability. It's just fun. It's just a fun time. It's nothing that's super strategic or tactical, but it's just a good time in a box.
Not top 25 material.
It's top 10 material. You're right.
I did have this one on the list, and I had it in the right spot. I had it as number 7.
Good. Well, good for you, Jeffrey.
Thanks.
My number 8 is a game that I'm expecting to be in your top 5. And this is a game I own and you don't. Your favorite game that's in my collection.
That's your guess.
That's my guess. And it's Imperial Settlers. Yeah. This is a card-based game, civilization building kind of. And yeah, the game is so tough. It's another one of those games where you want more rounds.
Yeah, but you don't get it.
The first 3 rounds of the game, you're trying to build up an engine, and then there's only 2 rounds that you're kind of gaining points, really.
Yeah.
Like, within the first 3 rounds, it's not uncommon to only have, like, 15 points.
Or maybe not even that many.
Or not even that many. And then by the end of the game, you have 110 points.
Yeah.
So, it's just that build up, that gear up. Maybe if there was a 6th round, it would be too many.
I
Probably.
think so. I think because it ramps, right? Like,
right.
You get like 0 points, maybe 1 point in the second round, maybe a couple points in the third, and it just goes boom, boom. If you win a 6th round, I think the scores would just be
outrageous.
But I mean, because it keeps it short and keeps it that tight, you can definitely see yourself getting better at the game as you play it more. Like the first time you play, like maybe 50 points, 60 points.
Maybe.
But the more you play, the more you start to see the combos and know what the cards can do, and you're thinking about all the different things that you can do and trying to build the engine that works. I mean, I have like 158 points for the Romans. Yeah. I mean, like that's insane.
It's insane, yeah. So each of the races has different cards, so there's variability there. With every expansion that comes out, there's more cards, so it's starting to be a deck builder, where you're pre-constructing your deck ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's not as you're playing, you're building your deck, but you pre-construct. So, yeah, as the more expansions come out, this game's just going to be more replayable.
Yeah.
Great game, a lot of fun. My number 8, but it is solo-ish.
Yes, it's not a whole lot of interaction. There is still interaction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that I would play it solo.
Right.
Like it is kind of solo-ish, but I don't think you get the same experience playing it solo.
Right.
As you do playing it with.
It's true.
More people.
Right.
But I think 2-player is where it's at with this game.
Right.
Because because it is more solo, you don't want that extra downtime that's introduced with having more and more players. Mm-hmm. So how many times have you played this?
Imperial Settlers I played 42 times.
Wow.
And Survive I played 14.
There you go.
Moving on to my next game, I have also played this game 42 times. This is my number 7 slot. It's a game that I just have fun playing. It's punishing. It punches you in the face over and over. And it is Xenoshift.
Wow, that high.
So Xenoshift it's kind of it's a pseudo deck builder, more of a hand management game where you're buying things into your hand and then you're playing them out to try and last the storm that is...
Defeat hordes of aliens.
Yeah, hordes of aliens just pouring in and punching you in the face.
The Starship Trooper, the board game.
Exactly. Yeah, lots of comparisons to that. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's sci-fi. The art is amazing. It's kind of graphic, so maybe not for younger children. It's a lot of fun, but there are some downsides to the game in that there's not a lot of strategy. It's very just pick what you think is going to be best for the current moment, do as best as you can, and hope to survive. But it's that kind of survival nature of the game and seeing what's coming up, and you flip that monster card over because you don't know what's coming, and you're just like, oh no, this is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And you're asking allies, is there anything that you can do to help me out? A card that you can play at this moment to stop this thing because it's going to ruin me. And you're all playing cooperatively to defend this base. So you have to help your allies out. If you just ignore them and they get run over, you can lose the game and it's over just because that player didn't defend the base well enough.
You either win together or lose together.
Yeah.
Because we did a review of this in our podcast.
Yeah.
And we had talked about some of the things that we felt were kind of lackluster or places kind of where the game fell down. So I didn't think it would be this high on your list. I still have it on your list.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it would be this high.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think, it's a cooperative game, so right there. Not my favorite genre of game.
Right.
But it doesn't do what I want a cooperative game to do, where either you barely lose or you barely win.
Right.
I feel that when you lose, you just lose all of a sudden.
You get crushed, yeah.
You just like, oh, that's it, we're done.
Right.
Or you go through the end and then you're like, oh yeah, we win.
Yeah.
It doesn't get that balance rate of barely win, barely lose.
I've played this game a lot solo, and I just like I get crushed, and I'm just like, man, I gotta beat these things back, and so I play again. So the game hits the table a lot with replayability all in one sitting for me. And every time I play it, I have fun. It's not like the best, most mechanically sound game. I just have fun playing it. Yeah. And so I needed to put it on my list.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fun game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. So that is my number 7. Moving on to my number 6. The last one in this bracket is something that I don't think you're going to have picked out for me. This is a game that I have been playing since 1994.
I have
and it is Magic the Gathering.
I have it on your
list.
list.
You have it. Wow, I didn't think you would. So Magic the Gathering, I mean, I've played this. This was like the thing that got me into gaming.
Right.
And I loved it back then. Now it's okay.
It's expensive.
it's an expensive game, and the newer cards that are coming out, I don't like any of the new stuff. Okay. I feel like the game is just evolving too fast for what it is, and like they just have to keep bringing out new, better stuff over and over and over and over, and eventually like common cards are going to be 20/20 tramplers, protection from all colors.
Well, I don't know.
And that's going to be a common.
I don't know if
3 mana.
I don't know if it'll ever get to that point, but I do feel that it's a lifestyle game.
Yeah.
If you're going to play Magic. If you're going to play Magic, you need to play Magic.
Right.
Like, I have a couple friends, that's all they do. That's all they talk about. They're talking about the meta game. Like, well, you need to have this card in your deck to counter this strategy. Like, you know what? And it's all about efficiency. Your deck needs to have a win condition, and you need to get there before the other player. Yeah. And you need to figure out the combos that are going to work, and like, how many lands do you include in your deck? I mean, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You live and breathe Magic. I mean, you can play it casually, but the game, I think, shines in that competitive nature.
Exactly.
But I just don't have the time.
and I only play it casually, and so when I go and I play with these friends of mine that play the game almost professional level, or they're constantly playing it, constantly making decks all the time, and they bring out these ridiculous things that are just absolutely absurd. And I'm just like, this isn't even fun. It's like, oh yeah, turn 1, okay, I win.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, no, like we're not even playing a game anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you are just a casual player and you go up against someone who plays really well and built, especially if they bring their own pre-constructed decks.
Right.
Like I think there's like certain tells that you have to like. As soon as they start playing a certain card, you'll be like, oh yeah, they're playing this archetype of deck.
Right.
I need to counter this particular card because that's instrumental to their strategy.
Right.
And if you don't, they're like, oh yeah, I won turn 2.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just absurd. That's like, it's not even a game anymore at that point. It's just you're sitting down at the table and shuffling cards. Like, that's the game.
Yeah.
So I don't like the direction that it's going. I don't like competitive play, so it's just casual. I have a feeling this is going to completely fall off my list eventually.
But still,
it's still, it was my number 1 game for years, and now it's slowly working its way down just because I don't like where it's going.
All right. So,
how many points did you get there?
Well, I had all 5.
Right.
On your list, and I believe I had
2 in the right bracket.
2 in the right bracket. So that's 7 points.
Right.
Not bad.
There you go. Not bad at all. Okay, so moving into
top 5s.
Top 5s. All right, we'll see you in the next video, guys.
See you soon.